Tell you what, Daniel, thank God for the IPA. I mean, these are exactly the sort of hard facts that have gone missing in the whole climate debate.
Well, you know, on this show we live in the real world, and here's the real world. James Morrow wrote today about a report which came out from the IPA. China emits carbon emissions in 16 days what Australia does in an entire year. They are going to continue to increase their carbon production till 2030, and they don't promise to get to zero until 2060.
We're also going to have significant job losses that will take place as a result of policies such as a net zero emissions policy. So modelling we had prepared a couple of weeks earlier estimated that up to 653,000 jobs would be lost under a net zero emissions target. That those job losses would be concentrated in regional Australia and in industries such as agriculture, manufacturing and coal mining. So it's all pain and no gain.
Now, we're always told that coal is the enemy. The world's turning its back on the stuff, but a new report shows that China emits more carbon dioxide every 2 weeks than Australia in an entire year. This comes from the IPA, the Institute of Public Affairs. It questions whether Australia should be heading towards net zero emissions. China operates 56 times as many coal-fired power stations than we do, and while we're shutting them down, China's building another 227.
It's a futile effort going to net zero if China is going to swallow up our entire year's worth of emissions in just over 2 weeks. We found that since 2004, on a per capita level, China has increased its emissions by about 83%, while we've reduced our emissions by around 15%. And you've got to remember, we've signed up to the deepest cuts per capita level of any nation under the Paris Climate Agreement. And under that same agreement, China gets to emit however much it wants over the next decade without any consequences.
It is very confusing for the coalition to be pushing a net zero emissions policy when it's those people, those voters that got them into government, the voters that swung to them in regional Queensland, that are going to be the ones that are going to be hit hardest by that very policy.